And this is something that you and I identify very quickly when we're working with our dogs.
Yeah.
If there's a little issue that comes up, is what are proactive versus reactive training?
This is huge.
If you're struggling with something, there's sort of two things that you need to know how to, two steps you need to know. What am I going to do before that thing happens? And what am I going to do after they respond or after that thing happens if you aren't in control of it? So these are a couple of the things that we need to talk about when it comes to proactive versus reactive training. My dog has been barking at a lot of other dogs and he wants to say hi. And before COVID, people were more willing to let that happen. Let's talk about what Betsy should do proactively and how she should react in this situation.
Yeah, your question is extremely
topical, yeah.
Well-timed, Betsy, because one of my examples that I was going to use was literally walking your dog out on the street. So, if you're walking your dog out on the street, reactive dog training. Thank you, Cialis.
Thanks for joining us.
Reactive dog training would be that person that, is out for a walk and they're not really paying attention, and all of a sudden people come up and they have another dog or they have a kid in a baby stroller or whatever it is, and they aren't thinking about what their dog's going to do before they do it. They miss the moment, they allow the dog to react, and now they have a dog that's either pulling crazy on the leash or barking or whatever it is. So now you have a heightened dog that's very stimulated, and now you have to deal with it. And that's what we would call reactive dog training. And that is not what we suggest that you do. That happens sometimes. Sometimes we miss the boat and we get into a situation where we need to, correct the situation or redirect or whatever we need to do, but that's not really what we want to do. The best thing to do is to train in a proactive way. So, knowing your dog well, knowing what certain triggers or distractions are going to be really difficult for your dog, and then being ready for those things. So, Betsy, if you know that your dog is prone to barking at other dogs, when you see another dog up in the yonder, you need to be ready to redirect your dog's attention to something else. You might call their name and turn a different direction. You might have some of your dog's favorite treats or favorite reward out with you, and you can get your dog's attention with that and cross the street or go the other direction and get your dog accustomed to it. Be proactive and get ahead of things rather than waiting until you're like, oh no, there's another dog there. Now my dog's going crazy.
Yeah.
And now, because what happens is even if you are able to diffuse the situation, it's very self-rewarding for dogs to bark at other dogs or anything in that matter. It doesn't matter what they're barking at. So if you miss that moment and your dog's been barking and barking and barking for a couple minutes before you are able to calm them down or redirect them, well, they've just been self-rewarded for that. So it's really important. I'll give you a similar example that I was going to say with actually Beeline is when she was younger, she would often be a little bit nervous about seeing people that she didn't know when we were out for walks, Ken?
Yep.
And so it would get to the point where somebody would come walking around the corner and she would start to spook bark, or she would want to growl and go behind our legs, and she was a little bit uncertain.
Yeah. This is really good, and I think I really want you to think about this at home, how identify what the triggers are for your dog, and what can you do to break things down to help them be successful. So I apologize for jumping in, but go ahead.
Just keep jumping in, hon.
I'll jump right
now. What we know with Beeline is she loves to do tricks, but there's a few tricks in particular that she really is absolutely nuts over. And she also loves to play tug with me. So whenever we would take her for a walk, we would have some treats on us. We'd have some one of her favorite tug toys hidden away. And as soon as she would see another person, before she had a chance to get stressy, we would ask her to do a trick, or we would get out the tug and start playing. And it actually got to the point where she would see a person and then she'd turn around and look at us as if something fun's about to happen. So we changed her trigger to feel positive rather than to feel stress, and that really, really helped. It also bled over into if we would say hey, hi, come on in, or how's it going? Yeah, she doesn't react anymore.
But this is a really important thing for you guys to understand. So let's break that down.
Yeah.
Why was that something? And it is with no one around.
Yeah.
You could just say, oh, hey, how's it going? And
hi.
She would react.
Come on in.
Right. So let's talk about what had happened there. How
We've been working a lot on this with Beeline. So a while ago, if Ken and I were to do that, she would go bark, 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 and she'd be like all like stressy that somebody was coming in. So rather than waiting until somebody was actually there, Ken and I would practice with her, you know, pretending that we were saying hello to someone or asking them to come in, and then we would play with her, or we would feed her, or we would do fun things. And now you can see like her eyes are closed and she's like, whatever, you guys are crazy. But I swear to you, it did not look like this before. We would get a reaction, a stressy reaction. Yep. So it was a matter of not waiting until those moments happen, but be proactive with our training and stopping the mistakes from happening before they were even there, because we were being strong leaders and being clear about what we wanted her to do. And we went from a way of helping her and teaching her what we wanted, rather than waiting until she makes a mistake and then having to correct it. I don't want to do that. Yep. I want to, train her in the most positive, helpful way possible.
Now, you've just watched some content from our main channel, McCann Dog Training. And if you'd like some more training information on this topic, click that card right there. If this is your first time on our Clips channel and you really enjoy the short form content, make sure you subscribe. Hit that button right there. On that note, I'm Ken. Happy training.